that was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed.
In this video, I'm going to be discussing what we know about Max's time on Drag Race, the years that followed, and the theories behind why her career never took off, along with what the future may hold. But before we start, this video is sponsored by Raycon, and honestly, if you're looking for a holiday gift that's actually useful, Raycon's essential open earbuds have been my everyday pair lately. I use them constantly, watching RuPaul's Drag Race, listening to music, at the gym, walking outside, and the best part is that I can hear my audio and still hear what's happening around me too. And they're up to 20% off for the holidays, so it's a good time to grab them. Regular earbuds block everything out, but these sit outside your ear canal so the sound is clear while you stay aware. They're super lightweight, the rotating hook keeps them in place, and they stay comfortable even after hours. I've worn them for working out, cleaning, running errands, and they don't budge. Raycon has over 3 million customers. Plus, there's a 30-day guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. A few features I use constantly is the open ear design, the flexible hook, multi-point connection so I can switch between my phone and laptop instantly, and the battery life is wild, 36 hours with the case. I charge them maybe once a week. The essential open earbuds are out for the holiday season and they're selling fast. Raycon's audio products are up to 20% off right now. Click the link in the description to save site-wide. And if you want them in time for Christmas, order by December 15th and support the channel in the process. Now, let's begin. The topic of Max has been among some of my most requested videos, especially since Max is a queen that left us wanting a lot more than what we got, but she would end up disappearing from the fandom. Nowadays, whenever Max gets brought up by fans, it's usually to talk about how she was robbed or to discuss the infamous edit where producers made it seem like she was losing her mind. It's also even more strange how, despite being one of the fan favorites for her season, Max's career would fizzle out way too fast for the level of popularity that she had reached. But why did things turn out this way? Well, let's start from the beginning. In December 2014, Max would end up being introduced to the world when the season 7 cast was announced. By March 2015, the season had officially begun airing. Season 7 was also Max's first time auditioning, which meant she was among the lucky queens that never had to audition twice. On season 7, episode 1, Max walked into the workroom with some very sophisticated music playing in the background. In a matter of seconds, most viewers of the show understood the character that Max was trying to bring to the series. She then went on to be one of the standouts for the premiere episode with her spring and fall mini challenge looks being able to stick out from the rest of the styles that were being showcased. Subsequently, she'd make her official runway debut where the theme prompted the queens to go on the runway and strip themselves naked. This resulted in some of the queens having the same nude illusion that they all ordered from Amazon, others completely missing the mark, and those who did show up with good nude illusions would end up having their outfits get censored anyway. On season 7, episode 2, Max would fly mostly under the radar, although she did have the catchiest part of the Glamazoning Airways challenge, which I advise you go watch if you haven't already. We'd also get to see her Jet Set Eleganza runway look. By season 7, episode 3, it was finally Max's time to shine, with the Maxi Challenge of the week being about acting. Something that Max had a lot of experience in thanks to her previous background performing as the Beast in a production of Beauty and the Beast, where she was able to display her musical talents through singing. On episode 3, Max's group would be the first one to perform their play in front of RuPaul and Michelle Visage. Their group would end up providing a decent performance, but Max's group benefited from the fact that the group that came after was a complete disaster. RuPaul even called the other group the worst car crash he'd ever seen in the history of the show. This ultimately made Max's group the winner of the challenge, and Ru announced that Max had gotten her first official Maxi Challenge win, making Max one of the early frontrunners of season 7, along with Violet Chachki and Ginger Minch. On season 7, episode 4, the queens had to split into different groups to make a music video parody of one of RuPaul's songs. Max ended up being in a group with Jaden Dior Fierce and Violet Chachki. I found this episode to be really peculiar because it felt like the best group out of the 3 competing was Max's group, especially since Max and Violet had been severely underestimated in terms of their comedy. On top of that, Jaden fully invoked the Bianca Del Rio persona, and the lyrics of the parody were actually very cleverly written. Although Max was criticized for not having enough green in her runway outfit, and the winner of the challenge would end up being Ginger Minj's group. By season 7, episode 5, Max's storyline would intertwine with Pearl's, who had just lip-synced against Trixie Mattel. Pearl somehow managed to win despite the general consensus among the queens and the fans being that Trixie had won the lip-sync. Pearl was largely critiqued for being low energy throughout the competition, with the judges saying that it seemed like she was sleepwalking. Max was then paired with Pearl for the Despy Awards challenge. It was during this episode that Pearl had her infamous altercation with RuPaul. After Ru stared Pearl down, and Pearl clapped back saying, "Is there something on my face?" and walked out the room, temporarily leaving Max alone. Ultimately, it was revealed in Untucked that Max had done most of the writing for the script. This led to Pearl receiving her redemption storyline and her first win, while Max officially became the #1 frontrunner of the season with her second win. Season 7, episode 6 is when things really start to change. Despite it being an acting challenge, Max's portrayal of Merle wasn't very funny. Yet even though her runway was stunning, the judges gave her negative critiques for once again wearing gray hair, despite Michelle asking her the prior episode to change it. The whole narrative surrounding Max's gray hair was kinda weird, since many queens had worn the same color or silhouettes without being criticized. This led into season 7, episode 7, where Max faced Snatch Game. Max chose to portray Sharon Needles and didn't do very well at it. After the episode aired, Max took to Twitter to apologize.
There was also some backup characters that Max had, such as Miley Cyrus, Lana Del Rey, Alaska, or Miranda Sings.
That the only thing that's gonna fill her up and stuff like that, y'all, is gonna be a 10-inch Robin stick, y'all.
Later on in the episode, though, Max listened to the judges' critiques and walked the runway in a black wig. Subsequently, in a matter of minutes, she was placed in the bottom 2 against Jaden Dior Fierce to lip-sync to No More Lies. While Max didn't do terribly, Jaden completely ate her up on stage, and Max was eliminated in one of the most shocking exits of the season, especially since she had just won the challenge the episode prior. After Max's elimination and the fan outcry, many thought that she was a shoo-in for All-Stars. However, on episode 8's makeover challenge, Max returned as an eliminated queen paired with Violet Chachki, but they played safe. It was also revealed that many queens noticed that Max had been faking the accent she had been using throughout most of the season, as it was most obvious when she dropped it immediately after getting eliminated. There was also an infamous moment during Max's last episode where she asked to pause production to loosen her corset and get water. During that pause, RuPaul had asked Max to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but Max instead sang a song by Judy Garland from A Star Is Born. Yet the editing made this moment look strange, erasing the fact that Ru had ever asked her to sing, and instead was transformed into material to justify her elimination. To top it all off, later on, World of Wonder would end up confirming that Ru had in fact asked Max to sing in that moment. After the show aired, despite the strong fan support, Max explained that she stopped doing drag due to anxiety and perfectionism. She also took time away to focus on her family. On the other hand, fans speculated that it was due to poor management, especially involving her then ex-boyfriend that was her manager, having allegedly played a major role in her career stalling. The two broke up in 2015, and Max later stated that, quote, Hollywood killed the starlet. Then for a while, Max disappeared. She did come out with a miniseries in 2017 called Agent Max, but it ended up failing to gain any traction despite the strong production value. After that, the only time we saw her pop back into the scene was in the year 2021. Today, Max remains mostly inactive on social media, but appears to be at peace. While many fans believe she was done dirty by the show, it's clear that she had a strong front-runner at it for most of season 7. If she ever returns to All-Stars, many hope that she'll make it to the final. I'm sort of hoping that at one point, production puts aside their own personal vendettas and actually start inviting queens that people genuinely have been begging to see back for years. But what are your thoughts about Max? And do you hope we get to see her make a big comeback? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to get your Essential Open earbuds or shop for any Raycon audio products that are up to 20% off right now. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/greengay to save site-wide. And if you want them in time for Christmas, order by December 15th and support the channel in the process. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons. In the Elite Pink Squad, we have Matthew Burns, Gay Uncle, Saritish, Las Potitas, Cool Gal Nan, Jet Sam Adams, and Natasha De Leon. And in the Gay Squad, we have Lone Resident, Christine Gregory. And in the Green Squad, we have Cayman Rider Furry, Edgar Allan Pup, The Only Sean, IJS, Not a Punch But a Keek, Jack Beck, Galeria Gomez, Sarah G, Scarlet Rose, Boiled Peanut, Not an Omelet But an Egg, Max Whale, Dea, Dea, and Niall O'Hearing. If you'd like to see your name on the screen, you can support me on Patreon. The link will be in the description.